Good morning, friends. I'm feeling pretty good this morning. I hope you're feeling well. I have a curiosity about what everyone's ideal start to the day is or looks like. What's your favorite way to start your day? I love a good slow morning that's intentional to what my body and my brain need. I also love to blast my music, belt the words out. Let's get this party started, shall we? I want you to stay up there. Can you do that for me? Ooh, child. This is... All right. It's up. Reminds me of my law enforcement days. It's up, okay? It's off my neck, all right? That's what you wanted. All right, let's get this party started. It smells so good. The sound of the bugs is a dead giveaway that I'm in the South. The sound of nature. I love it though. We've got some good wind this morning as well. Cleanse the heart space. One hand on the heart, one hand in the depths of the belly. One more, just like that. Welcome in. Welcome to Insightful Healing. I'm Amira. Thanks for joining. If you're joining live or watching back, I'm glad you made it here. Something in your spirit or in the alignment of the universe led you here, and so I believe that it's purposeful. Let's get into these intuitive messages. I was struggling to meditate this morning, actually. I was too worried about what was happening externally and having a hard time connecting or staying present. I was concerned rather than trusting that all was well. And specifically, y'all gonna laugh, I was worried about my tea. I hadn't had a sip of it yet, first of all, and so I was eager to take my first sip, but also it was out here uncovered, and so I was worried about the possibility of bugs or debris invading my tea, because that would just be rude. But I was able to connect just enough. And then I told myself, sometimes we need to decipher together or process out loud. And that's a part of how, especially for me, how we gain some clarity. And so the first intuitive message that I got was about a gargoyle, which when I did a little bit of research, it refers to a Gothic architecture. Typically, there are many. They're strategically placed alongside a building to ensure that the rainwater pours away, to not destroy anything. And so they're used as a support, as a sense of support, and strategic support, strategically placed. I also think it's significant to point out they don't require ongoing maintenance to a degree. It's just simply, okay, we've created this part of the structure or the organization, if you will, and yeah, it's like synchronous versus asynchronous. Interesting. That reminds me of something I was doing yesterday. And then I immediately smelled grapes, but not just any old grapes. Grapes that were growing from the vine, and it reminded me of one of my grandfathers. Um, he had lots of crops out in the backyard, but he had a grapevine back there that I remember specifically and distinctly remember the smell of them. And then that led me to wine, of course, and then I started thinking about how people swish wine around in their mouth and what is the purpose of that. And essentially, the purpose is to distribute the wine in such a way that is intentional, similar to the gargoyles. And so we're talking about the water element, right? We could be talking about alcohol as well on a more mundane level, but we're talking about the attempt to control the water element and the different things that one can do or might try to gain some control. I mean, water is underestimated often. The strength of it, the depth of it, the grace of it. I actually have water right behind me. I don't think you guys can see it. But even when I peer out to the water back out there, it's something peaceful about it, but also it can get rough. So there may be something that you're needing to do, needing to try. Maybe you're feeling stuck in how you can manage that water, or maybe specifically your emotional space, the depth of what you're feeling, the maybe inconsistency of what you're feeling, what you're experiencing emotionally and intuitively as well, because the water represents our intuition. but it's something to flow with, right? We have to go with the current. Going against the current is only going to inevitably make it more challenging. Um, and so, yes, I can get on my boogie board and have control over my limbs and decide what is the best way to keep some control when I'm trying to ride the waves or whatever you do on the boogie board, child. But at the same time, it would be asinine for me to try to go against the current or against the grain. This is reminding me of the Hierophant. Hierophant represents tradition, doing things orderly in a structured way. And again, this could have to do with an organization, literally. But I feel like there's a fight there. There's some tension there between what should be done, what could be done, maybe what your intuition is telling you to do. But why fight against the current? You know, and make it more challenging. Is it worth it? Is it worth the possible change? Is it worth the possible damage or accident? I don't know. Interesting. Well, let's pull some cards. Let's pull some cards. The throat chakra in the morning time is just like, girl, bye. Girl, bye. Sense of Self Oracle deck, of course. Available on my website. Let's see what's up. I just heard latch and key. Okay. The sun is coming in hot on my neck. Hello. Number 20 says, choose according to what feels liberating. So there is some sense of feeling restricted here. Whether by certain laws, rules, expectations. These could be rules or expectations you've set for yourself or ones that are standard outside of you. Oh, wow. I just heard standard deviation. Oh, my goodness. That takes me way back to statistics. Oh, gosh. Standard deviation. I mean, that requires calculation, right? I don't remember how to calculate it. Maybe y'all do. Okay, or maybe you're into math, but interesting. So there is a way to do it, to deviate from the norm without completely wrecking the whole thing, whatever it is that you're working through. Number 20 also in the tarot, it corresponds to the Judgment card, which speaks to significant life-changing decisions. Decisions that are based upon the facts, based upon the truth, and like any other decision, results in consequences. you know, but it's a second chance. It's an opportunity to change your life in a way that maybe will be more aligned. I'm being reminded of this deck that I have. I don't remember which tarot deck that is, but I'm seeing I think it's the Between Tarot. I think it's the Between Tarot. I'm seeing the Hangman and the Justice card. Okay. So maybe for some of you, you've been stuck trying to make the best decision, trying to make the right decision, whatever that is. Analyzing the facts, taking your time to gain new perspective, or there's a need to open your mind, allow your mind to float out into that choppy water. Look around, sit still, right? Study the waves. Study the pattern. Gain all the information that you need to make the best decision. Might be the Between Tarot, might be another deck. I'm not sure. Let's pull a card. Loud. So in making this decision, okay, a big decision it looks, focus on your freedom. Focus on that new energy that you're seeking. That enlightenment, again with that Hangman energy especially. The Ace of Wands is a new beginning. It's a new sense of fire, a new passion, a new reason to get out of the bed, right? Maybe you're missing this. Again, feeling stuck, feeling bogged down by the Ten of Wands, feeling overwhelmed with responsibility, and like you don't have the support within the structure. But I think I said this yesterday or recently. It's our responsibility to set those boundaries. It's our responsibility to readjust the structure if it's not working for us, to protect those crevices, right? To protect our emotional space, to protect our physical and inner strength, to protect our goals, our dreams, to protect our energy, ultimately, right? Your energy is super valuable. Let's see what the booklet says about card 20. Hearing that song, Time Is On My Side. I don't feel like singing it. It was actually, the first time I heard that song was in a movie. I don't remember what the movie is called, but the man he's in prison. And I think he's on death row. And he had a different way of thinking and believing, I guess is one way to put it. but I remember he was like walking down the corridor of the prison and singing that song, or like whistling that song. Good morning, Crow. Also reminds me of one of my dreams last night. I was in the back of a police car, super compliant. It was weird. Like, I already knew I was going to get arrested. And prior to that, actually, I was looking for somebody because their children hadn't seen them all day, and I wasn't like them. And so I pulled out my phone and started to do a search in the jails, the nearby prisons, to see if they were arrested. But it was like in the midst of that, I was arrested. Weird. I remember being in the back of the cop car and they had me handcuffed in the front, which was interesting. Right? It's like, I don't know if that was trust or manipulation or poor judgment. Choose according to what feels liberating. Maybe it was easier for the police officers to handcuff me in the front. Nonetheless, I had my cell phone back there. And I was back there texting one of my sisters to let her know I had got arrested. Oh, the squirrels are fighting. Or playing. I don't know, maybe they're play fighting. I never really know. I need to look it up one day. Or maybe one day I'll be able to talk to squirrels and they'll just tell me. Alright. This card presents itself to you today for assistance with choosing a direction. It asks you to allow your emotions and intuition to guide you toward that decision that creates a sense of liberation. I have to stop right there because that's just a culmination of everything we've been talking about, right? Maybe your emotional space feels choppy and uncomfortable, and so as opposed to valuing it and using it towards the decision, there's avoidance there. Okay, it's reminding me of two things. The first thing it's reminding me of is emotional intelligence, and the second thing it's reminding me of is masculinity. I don't know. What do you want to say about that? What do you want to say about that? It's a strength, though, to be vulnerable, right? It's a different type of strength. I feel like someone is accessing a different type of strength, or you're being challenged to build upon that different type of strength, one that you didn't know existed, one that you didn't know you had access to personally, or one that you, like, there was a should attached to it. Shoulds are indicative of core beliefs, and they are also an indication to ask ourselves why. Why do I believe that thing? Where did it come from? Why do I feel like I should? What's the consequence attached to that if I don't? And where does that come from? What's the root of it? I'm also getting something about color is how I want to say it. I mean, another word could be race. Another word could be melanin. I don't know, but color is what I want to say, and specifically colorism. Okay, so this could be something that you experience internally or externally that supports your false belief that you should or shouldn't. Okay, what do you want to say about this? I just heard Kiki. What do you want to say about this? I'm laughing because after I said it out loud, it reminded me of like somebody kikiing. Anything? The King of Cups, yeah. Again, the King of Cups is a masculine energy. It's somebody who um, has mastered their emotional space, though. And in mastering your emotional space, right, in increasing your emotional intelligence, it doesn't mean that I just pay my emotions no mind. It doesn't mean that I just simply don't value my emotions. It means I know how to use them. I know how to process them. I know how to humbly say, I feel, or I don't know. The King of Cups is someone who's committed to their intuitive growth. The masculine energy that trusts their intuition and is balanced in the emotional space. Pulling this card challenges your sixth sense to choose for your betterment rather than making the faster, easier choice. Fifth sense to feel the tightness in your chest and examine the anxiety. Fourth sense to remember the taste of blueberries, which are beneficial in lowering blood pressure and thereby anxiety. Third sense to smell the fumes from the amount of pressure that is being placed on this decision. Second sense to hear and recognize the major internal struggle. And your first sense to see the truth through the darkness of your frustration. You are encouraged to choose according to what makes your soul feel free. This is a concept I have mostly lived by since I was 4 years old and chose to walk around the house in my bathing suit. Now, my parents never permitted me to leave the house in it because, well, that may have restricted their sense of freedom. The sense of liberation that I felt, even before knowing how much I would come to love the beach, it brought me the inner joy necessary. Obtaining that deep sense of freedom and joy makes everything else seem lighter and easier. As an adult, I've learned to balance when, where, and how often I wear my bathing suit, but the inner joy and freedom to choose will never go away. The feeling of restriction can be unhealthy for the soul in many ways. Luckily, I didn't combust as a child, but I hate to think what could have happened if I had not been afforded the opportunity to choose how to express myself or what to wear as a child. It could lead to extremely rebellious behavior or detrimental expressions of dissatisfaction. Let's get into this journal prompt. Session 49. As always, I invite you to share any thoughts, feelings, or journal prompts that came to you during today's session. But I have. What could help me to feel safe in allowing my emotions to flow maturely? In other words, what structure do I need to put in place yeah, that helps to liberate me? Interesting message today. It is yoga time. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope that something here resonates with you. If it did, come back and join me again sometime. See you guys next time.